Welcome to Missing Chronicles, where we delve into the heartbreaking and enigmatic mysteries surrounding disappearances. Here, we will immerse ourselves in the world of unsolved cases, thrilling search efforts, and intricate journeys. The goal of this channel is to spread awareness, foster community connections, and provide support to the families and loved ones of the missing. Join me as we embark on a suspenseful journey, hoping to uncover the truth behind these missing chronicles. Help us sustain and grow Missing Chronicles by becoming a patron on Patreon. Your contribution ensures that we can continue our investigations, share compelling stories, and work towards a world where no one is forgotten. Join us in making a lasting impact today. Mysterious vanishings, unexplained and bizarre disappearances in the UK. The family of a missing base waterman is fearing the worst as a month-long police search has failed to yield any trace of him. 2 weeks have passed since his disappearance, and today, on Facebook, his family made a desperate plea to the general public. In 2012, the Wall Street Journal reported an estimated 8 million children go missing worldwide every year. Considering the UK's population of almost 67 million, it is alarming that someone is reported missing every 90 seconds, sometimes even quicker. The UK witnesses between 100,000 and 340,000 missing person incidents annually. The cases presented in this video are all marked by either unsolved mysteries or unusual circumstances. Or sometimes both. I am currently engrossed in researching and documenting numerous missing person cases throughout the UK, and I am also planning a visit to some of the locations where individuals have disappeared in order to gain a deeper understanding of the surroundings. Afterward, I will embark on the production of a documentary shedding light on some of these disappearances. Stay tuned for that later in the year. All the sources mentioned can be found in the video's description. With that being said, let's delve into the first case, involving William Jones, a miner from Noory, located at the head of the Rhondda Fat Valley in Wales. On August 4, 1908, just before a bank holiday, William planned a trip to take his 5-year-old son, Tommy Jones, to visit his grandparents near the town known as Brecon. They arrived at the town at 6 p.m. and had to walk approximately 4 miles to reach the farmhouse, situated deep in the valley and north of the Beacon Mountains. 2 hours later, at 8 p.m., they reached the login, which is now in ruins. This location was a campsite for soldiers during training at the rifle range further up the valley. It was reported to be a warm day, and despite only having a quarter of a mile left to travel, William decided to stop for refreshments and bought Tommy some biscuits at the canteen. Coincidentally, Tommy's grandfather and cousin, Willie John, aged 13 at the time, also arrived at the canteen. Willie was asked to inform Tommy's grandmother about their arrival, and Tommy expressed his desire to go with him. The boys began to run back towards the farmhouse, crossing 2 roof plank bridges, one of which lacked a handrail. As darkness fell, Tommy got frightened and started crying. He decided to turn back and return to his father at the login. Meanwhile, Willie made it to the farmhouse and then returned to the login within a quarter of an hour, only to find that Tommy wasn't there. The grandfather, William, and Willie immediately began searching the area for Tommy. Approximately 20 minutes later, soldiers from the camp joined the search. Midnight came, and the search was temporarily halted to prevent further accidents. However, at 3 a.m., the search resumed with increased numbers, including the police and the general public. Despite the extensive search efforts, Tommy was not found that day, and there was no sign of him whatsoever. The search continued for several weeks, with countless individuals tirelessly combing the entire area, including police, soldiers, farmers, and civilians. Unfortunately, Tommy remained elusive. Authorities started suspecting that Tommy might have fallen off one of the footbridges into the stream below or had wandered straight down the valley instead of taking the correct turn across the second bridge. In light of this suspicion, the search focused on the wooded country around the login and down the valley, as far as Brecon Waterworks. However, despite their best efforts, no trace of Tommy was discovered. At this point, the police began considering the possibility of a kidnapping, holding on to the last hope that Tommy might still be found alive. They extensively searched the nearby gypsy camps, but their efforts were in vain. The news of this incident spread rapidly, with media outlets picking it up and reporting it nationwide. The Daily Mail, showing interest in the case, offered a £20 reward, equivalent to £2,336 in 2019, to anyone who could solve the mystery. The newspaper's special commissioner disputed the theory of a gypsy kidnapping and instead suggested the involvement of a childless woman, a couple, or even the possibility of Tommy being murdered. However, he also expressed doubts about these theories. Despite many weeks of searching, Tommy's family pleaded with William to return home to Merady, which he eventually did. However, the anguish of his son's potential fate proved overwhelming for him. After his return, William was one of several people who climbed to the top of the beacons in a desperate search. It was during this search that a gardener's wife, Mrs. Hamer, at Castle Maddock, found Tommy's body at the top of a ridge. The cause of death was determined to be exposure and exhaustion. However, the circumstances surrounding how Tommy ended up there remained perplexing. The location of his body was marked with an obelisk as a testament to this tragic event. Another disappearance case, although distinctly different, holds similarities in its mysterious nature. On March 2, 2010, 18-year-old Russell Bowling left his parents' home in Benton at around 8 a.m. On the day of his disappearance, his car was missing from its parking space, indicating that he had left with it. Russell was a bricklaying student at Bishop Burton College, but it was unclear if he was supposed to attend any classes that day. He failed to return home, and his parents reported him missing the following morning. On March 3, his Renault Clio was found 45 miles away near Benson Cliffs, close to a former Royal Air Force bunker on the East Yorkshire coast. The car had been there since the previous day at 5 p.m., as confirmed by an employee of the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds who discovered it. Strangely, a parking ticket was displayed on the car's window, indicating that it had been purchased at 11:30 a.m. on the day of Russell's disappearance and had been paid for the entire day. Russell's parents found it puzzling how he could have driven from their home to Benson Cliffs without using his debit card for fuel, considering they believed there was less than 4 liters of petrol in the tank, and the journey would have taken approximately 45 minutes. The bank confirmed that no transactions had occurred on Russell's accounts that day. The police investigated Russell's movements leading up to his disappearance and discovered that he had visited York, Bradford, and Brightlington, but there was no indication as to why or what he had done there. York is around 47 miles from Russell's home, Bradford approximately 64 miles, and Brightlington roughly 20 miles away. Russell's visits to these locations were not shared with anyone. The police initially suspected suicide due to the location near the cliffs, which are known suicide hotspots. A recording, described as a suicide tape, was found in Russell's bedroom on a dictaphone. It featured him expressing insecurities about his intelligence and a desire to be buried in the countryside. However, Russell's mother clarified that the recording was made 3 years prior when Russell was stressed about his GCSE results at 15 years old. The family entertained the possibility of a third party's involvement in Russell's disappearance, suggesting that someone else might have refueled the car. It is worth noting that Russell's father was planning to provide him with £300,000 to start a business. However, it is unclear why an outsider would gain from murdering Russell, as he had not yet received the money. On the other hand, the police believed Russell had committed suicide. Nonetheless, Russell's body has never been found, leaving his disappearance unresolved and shrouded in mystery. Moving on to another case, on November 20, 2015, Rory Johnson Hatfield was last seen by one of his friends at 12:15 a.m. when he left the York Central Travel Lodge on Piccadilly, where he was staying. Rory went to a nearby pub with another hotel guest, having met him and his father at the Postern Gate Wetherspoon pub the previous night. It has been established that Rory left the pub around 12:30 a.m. but never returned to the hotel and failed to show up for work the following evening. Initially, the police believed Rory may have encountered difficulties while walking near the River Ouse, particularly around the Skeldergate Bridge area, as CCTV footage captured him in that vicinity after 12:30 a.m. Extensive searches, including underwater searches, were conducted by the police and search and rescue teams, but no trace of Rory was found. Later, Rory's family, with the assistance of the York Rescue Boat Service and the International Rescue Service, conducted a further search of the riverbanks themselves, but the effort was hindered by flooding. A boat drone flew 56 miles of the river, and a Bolton search and rescue team employed sniffer dogs along the river's length, yet no clues regarding Rory's whereabouts were discovered. In 2017, an underwater search and rescue team deployed sonar scanning equipment, but the operation did not yield any answers either. Rory's father maintains that Rory did not enter the river on November 16, 2017, he expressed his doubts, saying, "We've always maintained that Rory hasn't gone in the river." The police finished all of their searches recently, 2 years down the road, and there's been nothing found whatsoever. We need to move on from the river. Over 3 years have passed, and Rory has never been found, leaving his disappearance unexplained. These cases pose numerous questions, with their enigmatic circumstances and unresolved outcomes, leaving families and investigators alike searching for answers. Thank you for watching Missing Chronicles. We have explored captivating stories and searched for answers behind the vanished. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with our latest videos. Share these videos to spread the message and assist affected families and loved ones. If you have any information related to the cases we've discussed, please leave them in the comments section. Together, we can make a difference. See you in the next Missing Chronicles.